Hello everyone, welcome to the channel called Tuned In with Gloria Selinda. I am Gloria Selinda and I'm excited to be with you yet again to reflect on the topic of true personal identity. Yes, we continue on this topic. It is broad. Today specifically, I would like to reflect with you on how true personal identity gives you personal agency. Yes. So I would like to just pause and appreciate everyone who has tuned in to the previous video clips, shared your views, your reflections. Thank you very much for the feedback. I am learning and growing as well from your feedback. Thank you to those who have subscribed as well. I appreciate your support. Let's continue with today's topic. How does true personal identity give you personal agency? Let me start by maybe talking a little bit about what true personal identity means. This is a person believing in themselves, believing or understanding or knowing who they are. And I also like saying whose they are. By now you know that hopefully, I believe, you know that I believe in God, I believe in Jesus Christ. So I belong to my Creator, who is God in heaven, right? And it's important for oneself to know who they are and where they belong, because that most of the time dictates how we live our lives. It dictates our lifestyles because of the values that we would inherit and because of how we will show up, the language that we will use, and our whole belief system, basically. And in terms of personal agency talks to one's ability to, or one's belief that they have the ability to influence their own actions and their own behaviors. And simply put, personal agency talks about one's belief that they have the ability to stand up for themselves, right? And why is this topic important? It is important because we live in a world where a lot of people struggle with low self-esteem, which sometimes translates to low confidence. People struggle with now in workplaces we hear about the imposter syndrome. People doubting that they are competent and they have the ability to do certain things. And it can be different age groups. People go through different experiences, and sometimes people believe that they are not good enough. They believe that they are not worthy of this and that, or even as people, they are not, they don't have self-worth. So when you have personal agency, you get to understand that you are important. You get to understand that you have a purpose on earth. You get to understand that you are gifted. You have gifts that are unique. You are a unique individual. You get to understand that you actually have the power, you have the ability to influence what happens in your life. You have to take ownership as well of your actions, So when you have personal agency, you know that you don't need to be comparing yourself with others. You don't need to be measuring your success against the successes of other people. You don't need unhealthy competition. There is healthy competition. There is admiring, qualities or how other people are doing things. But you know that that is from a learning and growing point of view, and not necessarily because you are comparing or competing with that person or comparing yourself against that person. When you have personal agency, you understand that you don't need to be bound down to the wrong pressures, be it peer pressure, be it societal pressure, be it pressure sometimes from the family. I shared probably in the first clip around identifying with family, and sometimes that can bring undue pressure, because let me use an example of, if you are a child of God, there are a set of values and traditions that you follow, and some of them may conflict with family traditions, right? So when you know where you stand and you have the personal agency, you know that you have the ability to say no to certain things, and you can make informed and wise decisions about your life holistically. So you don't need to go with the crowd, whatever the crowd looks like. You don't need to be comparing yourself to colleagues and their qualifications and how they do things. Yes, you can learn, but you don't need to put yourself under pressure. When you have personal agency, you don't need to associate yourself with people that you don't fully relate with. You don't need to go to places. Some places are not for you, and you can say no. You can make a decision for yourself not to go to those places. You don't need to doubt yourself, because you know that you are able, you know that you are unique, you know that you are gifted, you know that you are special in your own right. And you absolutely don't need to give up on yourself. When you have personal agency, you don't need other people's validations. You don't need to be accepted by the crowd. You don't even need applauses, sometimes for the wrong things. So when you have personal agency, you know that you have a lot of power to influence where you are going. Now, as people, as human beings, it's easy sometimes to look at the imperfections. It's easy to look at the flaws. It's easy to look at what we are not able to do. And I mean, even in the Bible, there are examples of people who have done so. Moses is one example. When God sent him on a mission to go and speak to Pharaoh to release his people, he had a problem. He told God that he's not able to speak, and God even went to the extent of saying, who made man's mouth, right? Another example is that of Jeremiah. Jeremiah did the same thing. When God sent him on a mission to go as a prophet, because he was appointed as a prophet to speak to the Israelites and warn them, Jeremiah, said to God that he was a youth. Who is he to be speaking to the Israelites? And God was the one who reassured him about his ability, right? So it comes very easy to doubt oneself. It becomes very easy to think that you are not able. It becomes very easy to look at what you were not able to do, and. But today, my encouragement as we reflect on this topic is that you have the power to make decisions about your life. My encouragement is that you are able, you have a purpose, is that you have personal agency and you can influence where your life is going. So when you allow other people to dictate your personal identity, it's very easy to be swallowed into their expectations and to also lose your voice. But when you understand that you have personal agency by the mere fact that you understand who you are and you understand your true personal identity, then you understand that what others think about you, how others perceive you, and how others have defined you and put you in a box, who you are and so forth, is not true. If I haven't convinced you so far that it is important to find your true personal identity in God, I am hoping that you are thinking strongly about it. I am hoping that you are asking yourself important questions about your true personal identity. Mind you, I'm not only referring about just identity that is mostly defined in the world differently. I'm reflecting about true personal identity, which is your spiritual being, your spiritual self, and how you relate to your Creator. who is God. So I would like to leave it here. And if you like the content and you enjoy the reflections and some of the challenges I am posing to you, please do share with others. Please subscribe as well. I'll really appreciate it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Bye.